Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be reviewing the final episode of Season 6 of Rick and Morty. Of course, it's a Christmas episode, because why wouldn't it be? And we have the nice little Christmas lights and everything going on, for starters. So, we start off with Rick giving presents to everybody. Jerry gets, what's a Miracle on 34th Street, I think it is. Beth and Space Beth get a picture before of them together before they blew up. Summer gets just money to her Venmo account, and Morty gets the coolest gift of them all that any person, I think, would want: an actual lightsaber. Not a fake one, not one of those plastic ones, not one of those FX Black Series ones that look really cool, but it's just a piece of plastic. This is a real one, and that's freaking awesome. So we go into the garage to play essentially Fruit Ninja, if you remember that game. I think that's what that's referenced to. Rick's like, oh, what if I bought a huge cart of fruit? And Rick then has some sort of fancy sci-fi thing that, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than ever. And he's just naked in the corner. Morty then keeps the lightsaber in his pocket, with the blade facing down, so he can cut off his own leg. And yeah, there's a hole in the ground. He dropped the lightsaber vertically. And this is something that a lot of people have asked about, like, what happens if you drop a lightsaber vertically? And we get their version of it. So he's running through it. There's like multiple levels to this sub-basement. Apparently, they go down far enough. They're on level 15. Morty was saying, no, we should go to 10 to get the lightsaber from this sushi shop. And then they end up going back up, missing it. And this is where we learn that the Rick that we've had for the past couple of episodes, since the Knights of the Sun, which I think I believe that was just last episode, has been a robot. So he's been more agreeable, because Rick is still secretly obsessed with capturing Rick Prime. And why wouldn't he be? That makes perfect sense. Being that, they killed his original family, and he really wants to find Rick Prime. Morty's super pissed about it. The robot's like, oh, finally I can die, because for whatever reason the robot just really wants to die. Then Morty's like, no, you have to go spend quality time with the family and, live out the rest of Christmas. That's the least you can do before we get rid of you. The president shows up. Morty said, yeah, I dropped that lightsaber. And he was like, all right, let's get Rick. We got to figure out how to do this. But Rick is infatuated. Like this little scene right here, just trying to match the butts to the correct Rick. And he kind of does, but at the same time, it's masked. It's kind of like a VPN, if you will. So he could be at any one of these locations at any point in time. Meanwhile, the president and his team of scientists have set up in Rick's basement, basically trying to figure out how to stop the lightsaber from hitting the center of the Earth and essentially destroying it. Morty's like, come on, you gotta help. And Rick's like, oh, do I really have to help? Meanwhile, we're watching Miracle on 47th Street here. Everybody's having a good time. And it's literally the 2-hour extended version is him just going down every single street saying, oh, is there a miracle on this? Oh, no, not on this one. And goes down another street. Oh, yeah, there's a miracle on this one. So they're working on the drill. And Rick is like, yep, whatever. Morty doesn't want to destroy it. But Rick's, that's what Rick wants to do. He's like, well, I'm just going to destroy it. It's easier than trying to catch it. Obviously, it's a literal laser sword. It can cut through anything, essentially. So Rick has a lightsaber. Notice how it's red. You got some dark side vibes going on. It has a booster on it and AI. Basically, he has the ability to control it. It has its own life, so we can just go send it down there and destroy it. And then Rick keeps talking to it, like, again and again and again. And then he's like, oh, well, what if I just turn off my brain function? So then it ends up spitting out in Venice, Italy, and just killing a bunch of people. And then I think the president's like, we're just going to blame this on Iran or something. He's like, that's something they would do, which is really messed up. The robot Rick then is trying to play a game where because he doesn't actually have literally he does not have the ability to say that he's a robot. Like he's programmed where he cannot say he's a robot. So he's trying to play a game where they guess that he's a robot. So basically, you have to choose whether or not you want to be a robot in this game, and then if you are, you can't actually say you're a robot. But he does say he has feelings and he knows that it sucks. And then he mentions that his spine's made out of titanium, and they're all having a good time. Needless to say, they don't remember it's a robot. Rick then agrees to use this drill machine. They go flying down, the president and Morty, at which point the president actually misses it. Morty catches it. The president takes it. He actually bashed Star Wars. That's what I did forget to mention. He bashed Star Wars super hard in the beginning of the episode, and then Morty ends up calling him out on it. He was like, "Oh, you Gen X, lying sack of poo, saying that you hated Star Wars, and then you really liked it." And then the president goes on to mention um, that he was like, "Oh, it birthed me. I grew up with it." All these things. Meanwhile, Jerry is giving Rick the opportunity to kick the Thanksgiving ham, for, finally accepting him into the family. And then Rick hands it back to him. Morty mentions that it's a robot. Jerry cuts his arm. It is a robot, and they tear him apart. They just tear him apart. Um, Literally make him the Christmas tree, as you can see. Pretty messed up. That might be the thumbnail though, right there. That definitely is thumb. Well, there, where the president then also drops the lightsaber vertically, um, and he he blames it on Morty. Uh, he launches the White House into space. They then turn on the robot Rick. He says, just let me die, because they're trying to get him to help because regular Rick will not help. Oh yeah, this is the VPN thing I was talking about earlier, where he can be in any of these millions of locations. So Morty takes Robot Rick to the president. They come in. They successfully get the lightsaber again. Well, Robot Morty does, or Robot Rick. I keep saying Morty, I'm mixing the names up. They go to the president, and he was like, why'd you have to blame me, you a-hole? We then go into like a giant Star Wars thing where I think he said like Herbert Hoover or somebody had it put in, which I don't think if that makes sense, because I don't think Herbert Hoover was alive when this happened, but I could be wrong. I'm not the biggest history buff in the world, but this is like the Empire's Return of the Jedi menacing window. You got Han Solo and Carbonite, got a couple of TIE fighters, got a cantina, a couple of droids, a whole bunch of some blasters over here, a whole bunch of Star Wars artifacts. Then we have the droids come out. It's like, oh, they come out on the fourth try. Their hands are literally lightsabers, which I don't understand. If the president wanted a lightsaber so bad, why didn't he just make one? He literally has droids where their hands are lightsabers, so why couldn't he just make a lightsaber? Big plot hole in this episode, if you're looking into it too deeply. He then says, oh, would a regular person create a robot whose eyes are also lightsabers? And then he couldn't see and ended up like cutting off his own arm, killing some other robots in the process. Um, he then shoots I think it was like a Gatling gun, um, at Rick. They're all small, tiny little lightsabers of different colors. It was pretty cool to see it. And then they all fall straight down. Yeah, you see, you got purple, red, yellow. Let's see if I can find that again. They're all going vertical too. There it is. There's the Gatling gun. But it's the lightsaber Gatling gun. That'd be really really cool. I mean, they have Gatling lasers guns in Star Wars, so why not add lightsabers to it? Um, Robot Rick is finally happy that he's dying. It cuts a giant hole, and then there's just lightsabers floating in space. I wonder if they're going to use that in another episode. Yeah, robot, because that would be kind of funny. Like if they just use it as a cutaway, like there's like some random dude driving in a spaceship, and then one of these lightsabers just like cuts into his ship because it's floating endlessly in space. Because statistically, at some point, that lightsaber is going to hit something. I think that'd be kind of funny if they did end up doing that. Robot Rick slowly dies. The president comes back. They have a little argument. They're like, "Oh, can you call me an Uber or a taxi?" And then, yeah, they're like, "Nah, we're not doing that. You just caused like a whole fuss. You blame me for something I didn't even do." And then we go into the basement. where Rick rants on about how season 7 is going to be all about finding Rick Prime. And I believe, to my knowledge, at the very least, because I think it was around season 2 where it got renewed for like another 7 or 8 seasons. So I know for a fact we're going to have at least 2 more, season 7, 8, and 9. There's going to be at least 3 more seasons of Rick and Morty. Will it continue on after that? That is a good question. I'm not sure. Maybe it might get to season 10. I got to go back and find that video where there was like the diary where basically there was some point where it got renewed for like 70 more episodes, and they're doing 10 episodes a season. But yeah, there's the end of the episode. Cuts out, and then we have I believe this is Mr. Poopy Butthole getting ripped because of his divorce. I believe this guy is meant to represent Fat Thor. That's at least what it looks like to me. And then Mr. Poobah is like, yeah, get in shape for the holidays. Yeah, this isn't about my divorce at all. Breaks both of his legs in the process trying to squat. And he said it was 300 pounds. I actually used to do a little bit of weightlifting. It even says 45 pounds right there. So 45 plus 45 is 90. And then the bar itself weighs, I believe, 45 pounds as well. So I mean that is not 300 pounds. He's not actually squatting 300 pounds there. That's like 135 if I'm doing my math right. But irrelevant. He's a little guy. So a lot of weight for him. Snap both his legs, and that's the end of the episode. Season 7. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of Rick Prime stuff. I'll be probably reviewing that as well. Hopefully, I get monetized by then. I got the subscribers. I love you guys subscribing. Unfortunately, my watched hours essentially got reset, and I went way down. I don't know why it went way down, but it did. So I need 4,000 watched hours. So if you could just pick a playlist, any playlist on my channel, cartoon, anime, probably the anime one I think has the most in it, just play it in the background. You can mute it if you want to. Just play it in the background. Let me get my 4,000 hours so I can get monetized. And for the love of God, let me give away that Szechuan sauce that I keep talking about every time Rick and Morty comes around. Because I keep telling you, if I get monetized, I'm going to give it away. And I haven't got monetized, so I haven't been able to give it away. Still got that Szechuan sauce from like 4 years ago. Has it really been that long now? No, I don't think it's 4 years ago. Maybe it was whatever the last time they had Szechuan sauce was. I think is when I got it. But that'll be it. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Season finale. And Rick and Morty will probably be back in another 6 months to a year. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.